click, quack.
People think it's cool, some people think it's funny, and the one who thinks it's normal, I'ma calling her my honey. Not much going on besides my two best friends, my friend and this little tiny, really, really, really funny bug. And if you're mean to it, I'll fuck you up. La-di-da, bug. He's got a mashed up face, he's the size of a mug, a pug.
We are back for another episode of Pugs and Mugs, Sipping Tales with Cup of Pug. I'm here with Jade, owner of Pearl's Legacy, today. Now, you're going to hear a lot of noise because we have our puppy day today. The puppy's upstairs ready, but I wanted to grab Jade just for a quick conversation to talk all about breeding.
Good morning.
Good morning. So you've got Dory with you today.
I have. Dory's one of our girls, yeah.
Oh, and who do I have here?
And here we have Giorgio. He's one of our Frenchies who's still looking for a home, bless him.
Oh, Giorgio, how are you? I'll take you. I can't. Oh my god, I can't, whatever.
Can't, no.
Yeah, do it.
Too many's never too many.
It really, I know. How many do you have now? How many pups do you have?
We have 9 at the moment, and obviously a couple of litters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
9 and litters.
Yeah.
Wow. So obviously, I've been to your house, and I've seen that. Obviously, your house is absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you.
But it really is all centered around the pugs, and you know, and just their lifestyle, really, isn't it? So, tell me, how did you get into breeding?
Well, it was nothing that was ever planned. We just purchased Pearl as a family pet. We wanted the joys of having a litter after doing a lot of research. And we had our first litter in 2018. We had 8 pugs, healthy, born at home. Just absolutely fell in love with whelping. We thought after getting the Frenchie the following year, we had 3. And yeah, we just went from there really. We were prompted to do a litter again by the people who had already purchased a pug from us. They loved the breed, they said we did really well, and we just kind of went from there. We just go, so Dory.
She's looking at a dog, isn't she?
Yeah.
She's like our Bruce. She's very much the guard dog, isn't
Yeah,
she?
well, she's
So-
still a baby really. I mean, she's what, 3, so, well, she's 2.5 actually. Dory.
It's gone, Dory.
It's gone. I'm gonna go Puppies.
So Jade, talk to me. What's the difference between like a hobby breeder and a registered breeder?
So a hobby breeder quite often will only want to do like the odd litter. They don't want to be known as a breeder because a lot of people don't like the word breeder. Me myself, I wanted to be classed as a hobby breeder. But sort of when it becomes a full-time job and you're doing more than 3 litters a year, you're obviously earning money from it, and you are doing this as a constant job. You have to get a license, and then you are classed as a breeder. It is a shame because the word breeder is for many people shameful, but it isn't. It isn't also bad. I, for a starter, would like to change that and make breeders be noticed as good breeders. Not everybody is a bad breeder, but yeah.
I mean, I think that you're right. The word breeder, people think breeding dogs and they think, oh,
They
it's
just
all
think
done for
it's-
money and
yeah,
things like that. And
yeah,
so,
but
I mean,
it isn't.
I mean, that's probably a good time to talk about like responsible breeding, isn't it? So,
It
like,
is.
what is responsible breeding?
Well, taking the health into consideration, so health testing your dogs, so putting money out there before making money is key. You've got to follow protocol with everything. Quite often, if my council's really good. I mean, I'm not sure about every other council, but my council work alongside me. They are very good, they're supportive. I'm still learning, even after 5 years. You can't ever know everything, there's always something new. But yeah, responsible breeding, caring about the dogs, their welfare, putting puppies' health before trying to sell them. Yeah. So for example, we have got a litter at the moment who've got a bit of diarrhea, and we have sold 2 out of that litter, and they've lost a little bit of weight. So that, for example, they're ready to go next week, they won't be going. So until they're put on a bit of weight and they have solid poo and you know, they're healthy and fit, then we let them go. I mean, that's responsible. This is not about getting in the money or anything like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's just a small example on a larger scale of many things that can go wrong with litters.
I mean, you're taking this one for instance. Like you've still got him, haven't you? He hasn't. How old is he now?
He's 5 months old.
5 months, yeah. So obviously, you know, he hasn't found a home, and you've got him, haven't you?
You've got to take into consideration that, you know, dogs may not sell, and you've got to have that care. You also got to have the space at home, so you've got to take into consideration you shouldn't be overbreeding. I honestly have a lot more going on behind the scenes than just breeding. I have 6 children, and obviously my dogs need walking. I have 3 girls that are retiring this year coming, so they are going to be living with me. I'm not getting rid of them. So we are going to be short on by litters because they're not going to be bred again. So yeah, I mean, you need to look after them. They are your dogs forever. You've got to have a heart to be able to do this.
I mean, that's
and
what
knowledge.
That's what I like from you. Obviously, we got Baloo from you, and you know, it was very nice. We got to come to your home. We were at your home for about 4 hours, you know, and you know, you were telling us everything. We learnt so much. We'd already had 4 pugs at the time.
I think you came with 5.
I think
maybe.
we came with them.
I saw you walking down the road.
And they were in your garden. You know, all the pugs were in your garden together with our pugs, and we, you know, it was great because we got to see exactly what your pugs are like, and they are your pets first. You know, they are they're not just for breeding. You know, they are your animals, and that was so nice to see. You know, because. You know, you don't have like cages or.
We don't use kennels. I mean, I am not against having you know, a pen for a dog. I think crates are good for training them.
Yeah.
I just don't feel it's necessary at home. I'm quite strict with them, and I think that's key. Having the right training, having a fair routine, as much as you can fit in.
For sure. Now, obviously, like we said before, like when people talk about breeding and like. Not everyone perhaps agreeing with breeding as well, you know. Like for me, I feel it's like a bit of a necessary evil. Like we need breeders, obviously, because we need our lovable, you know, pets as well. But obviously, some people may say that we shouldn't be breeding at all. Like, what would you say to that?
Well, not everybody can rescue. I mean, I was on a waiting list for 6 months before I got Pearl, my first pug, which is now 6.5. And obviously with 4 children and 2 cats at the time, they were very specific about what I could have at home, the age of the dog. I waited. I ended up purchasing Pearl, and I bought her from a breeder who'd been breeding for many years. For me, buying from a breeder, and at the time I didn't know much, I bought her from what I thought was a legit breeder, and I was kind of glad. But there's a difference. You can use the word breeder, but I think you need to go for a licensed breeder. She wasn't licensed. I didn't get much support. I did have the odd problem with Pearl, and I felt quite lost with a few things that went on with her. So yeah, I think it's important that when you buy, you go for a licensed breeder. I'll always prompt rescuing, but rescuing isn't for everyone. Rescuing is also a lot of commitment, as it is to a puppy. So their need necessity is the same as the puppy. So I mean, everybody's different.
I mean, what I loved, obviously, when we got Baloo from you, we're still in the WhatsApp group, you know, and we'll message, you know, we did for a long time, I think for a good year, we were still messaging, like, what about this, what about that, you know, and it was the smallest things, the tiniest of things, like, what are the brothers up to, what is everyone else up to, just being able to be part, I think, of a smaller community where everyone's asking questions, perhaps things that you didn't think about are still answered, and you think, oh yeah, and maybe it is time, you know, should we get him neutered, is there, what's, you know, what are we doing, you know, being able to have you on hand to talk about that, like for life, really, for, you know, for his life is fantastic.
Yeah, I think having a WhatsApp group to know where the siblings are. For me, having a WhatsApp group is knowing that I've paired the right male to the female. It's knowing whether they have allergies, if there's any ongoing problems. I think the WhatsApp groups helps me to know that the breed that I'm breeding is healthy, well and fit. Knowing that the clients are happy. Quite often these WhatsApp groups aren't for everyone. We do have people that just think it's too much. I have got groups that I just message daily. Sorry guys, I'm just not with it all the time. I pick them up, but I don't always answer.
It's just nice that the support is there if you want
it.
it.
I mean, I'll always support. I think that my best interests are just to make sure that the dogs are well, people are happy.
Look how good he is.
Yeah, Dory just
How
wants to
good
go
you
out.
are. She does. She's an adventurer dog, isn't she? She's
She
doing really
is,
well. You're
she
doing well,
is.
Dory.
I should have got her a ball. She's wanting to play.
Let's talk about French Bulldogs
Yes,
for a minute as well.
okay.
Because obviously some people
Can I
would...
put her down?
Yeah, of course, if she needs to go down.
Here we go. Let's go to the window.
When we talk about, when people talk about French Bulldogs and breeding French Bulldogs, Dory's in the bullpen, of course she is. When people talk about French Bulldogs and how perhaps they shouldn't be bred because they need help being, bred and they can't have puppies on their own, they need that human help, what would you say to people like that?
I think doing a lot of research into the breed will help raise certain flat-faced breeds such as Pugs, English Bulldogs, French Bulldogs. I mean, there's nothing wrong in breeding them because the breeding is getting better. So I'm breeding for health, so doing all the health tests on them. I am trying to add more as I go on. Obviously, there's a lot to it. There's, I think, over 70 something different problems and diseases that they inherit. So it is just making sure that you're doing all the right health tests, being there for mum to help them whelp. I mean, some French Bulldogs, some Pugs can whelp, but quite often they do need help opening the sacs. So, you need to be there. It is commitment. It is just making sure that you have the knowledge on how to do this as well. It's not just leaving them to it. Completely. Like a big breeders do, like puppy farms.
I mean, what is the difference between a puppy farm and like a breeder?
So quite often puppy farms are just money orientated. They have way too many. I can't tell you how hard it can be with infection control when you've got so many. I mean, just having 2 or 3 litters alone, trying to make sure that they're clean daily, at least 4 or 5 times a day, just changing the blankets.
That's a lot.
It
4 or
is.
5 times a day?
Yeah, it
Every
is.
litter? So
Yeah.
that's 15 changes
It
per day?
is, yeah. My washing machine's on 24/7. I've got at least 6 loads a day, honestly. Wow. Yeah, so with puppy farms they are just money oriented. It's all about money. You quite often buy a puppy from them, and this is from experience, hearing people's stories. They don't get the support. Puppies end up coming with problems, and then they just shut their door. They don't want to know. They have way too many. You see, when you're licensed, you are having to keep a record of the birthings, the times, the weights, how many litters mums have had, how many puppies per litter. You also have to be Kennel Club registered to ensure that they are pedigree. With puppy farms, you will find some will just not have papers, and that's because there's no record to keep track on what they've had. Dory, come in. It's just nasty, really. It's a very sore subject for people, but never buy from a puppy farm. With puppy farms, you won't see mum quite often.
I was going to say, how do you know if you're buying from? Because it's not like, I think, my vision of a puppy farm is like you see all the puppies, everyone together, like hundreds of dogs. You're not seeing that, are you? That's not a puppy farm.
Puppy farms can be in houses, just in every room, 3 or 4 litters. I can't say I've ever walked into one. I've only really bred and kept my own. But just hearing from stories over the years from people, you know the mum to the puppies usually quite often want to go to mum and they want to smell them. But a good way of knowing is if mum is to that litter, they quite often will let you see mum and let them come and say hi. Really, puppies should be separated from mum if they're off milk, because puppies will always go to mum to keep sucking milk. You'd be able to tell if mum's there by looking at paperwork too.
That's a good point, matching the paperwork as well. So what tips would you give people who are looking to, perhaps they're thinking, do you know what, a puppy is the way I want to go, that's why I want to get a pup. What should they be looking out for? What research should they do?
Licensed breeder.
And how do you know if someone's a licensed breeder? Is there someone you can check?
They should have a certificate with a code. And then obviously there are people making fakes. This is why I refuse to put my number on there, because I've been asked over and over again online to put my number on there. I refused. If you want to really know, I think you can search them up on Google with the council that they're at. always call the council and just ask what breeders do you have registered in your, you know, in your county council.
That's great.
They'll give you a list. At the moment there aren't many about. I think there's only me and one of my friends in Hastings.
Oh, wow, okay.
So yeah, out of the whole of East Sussex, I heard that 5 got turned down because it just didn't meet the standards.
Well, that's good though, right? That, you know, they're taking it serious in
It
terms of not
is.
meeting the. I mean, I guess they're really high standards.
They are strict, yeah. There are more rules being introduced every year. Again, this is our 3rd year running with a council licence, and they've upped a few things on there. They want you to do a lot of courses. They are proceeding with more health tests. And yeah, you're obviously limited to the amount per space at home. So if they got declined, you know, it could be for several reasons.
For sure. Yeah, so what other tips would you give people looking for
So tips, yeah, just, you know, check the paperwork, do you know, a really good thing for me is when a breeder suggests to send them off with their first, second vaccinations, make sure they're microchipped, because when you do the microchipping, it is under the breeder's name at first. And obviously to ensure that they're being sent with some food and a nice puppy pack. I have purchased dogs and they've just been given to me and they've just taken the money. And I think it's quite nasty. I don't think there's need to be greedy and there's just need to be responsible. But to offer that first and second vaccination, that breeder cares about that puppy having that. You can't judge people's homes, unfortunately, but the way they are raised,
we
puppies
can hear
want
it,
to
right?
get out.
This is like, yeah, this is puppies all the time, right? And I think that's something to take into consideration, right? In terms of like what puppies are actually
Yeah.
like, you know, they're a lot of work.
Yeah, they are a lot of work. You know, but yeah.
We love them for it, absolutely, definitely. So Jade, if someone they want, you know, puppy's the way to go for them, you know, how can they get in touch with you?
Just Pugs Legacy _UK on Instagram. I'm more than happy to advise with the purchase of a puppy, what to look for. And yeah, if you are looking for French Bulldogs or Pugs or English Bulldogs, we do have some. We will be taking a little bit of a break after this. It is needed. I think just to have it continuously is hard work at home. We do need a break because we also have children. So yeah, it's just, you know, not being greedy really. I
think again that shows that, you know, you're responsible. You're not just doing this for money, you know.
I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
There's a love and care, you know, and it's not just having had it at home and learnt to do it myself. I've done a lot of research. Like I said, I have 2 vets I work with, and when I say I work with, it's because they're very supportive of me. They advise me, they're happy to show me the procedures they're going to take if we need to take a route of a procedure. They explain. I think having a good vet with a breeder at hand is very, very good. So quite often if you are looking to buy a puppy, always ask who's the vet.
Great.
Phone up the vet and ask
Great.
if that litter is registered with them. Could we have the history of that puppy too? Sometimes purchases can be done with breeders and they want to buy before they have been registered, but if you are going to proceed with that sale, you do need to just check that they are registered with a vet and Kennel Club registered really.
I really like that. I've learned that, you know, I've never thought about, you know, when going to a breeder, check the vet, call the vet. Is that puppy,
Everyone
is that
I know,
registered?
I
That
always
is-
say, just call the vet, and then when you get the puppy, though they've had a vet health check by me, I always say, please get your vet to check, just so you don't think that we've done anything dodgy with our vet.
Completely.
Because it is important to do these vet checks. If you are not happy, instantly report that to them, and then just bear in mind, you know, word of mouth goes a long way.
It really does.
So-
It really does. Thank you so much, Jade. So Jade will be back with us regularly. So if you have any questions about breeding, puppies, pugs, French Bulldogs, English Bulldogs, get in touch, DM us any questions you have for Jade. And Jade will be back to do a Q&A very, very soon.
Wonderful, thank you so
Definitely
much.
so much. So that's
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Guys, make sure you like and subscribe here. Share this with anyone that absolutely loves pugs and dogs and breeding. I'm sure they'll get a real kick out of it. And just a great way to listen to us talk about dogs.
A pug. He's got a mashed up face. He's the size of a mug. A pug.